I am Jennifer Hayes. I'm the Director of Spiritual Care for Cook Children's Health System. So basically what that means is I'm a chaplain and I'm also a boss.
My name is Hanna Boyd. I'm a child life specialist at Cook Children's, and I work in our pediatric ICU. As a child life specialist in the ICU, my job is to help support patients and siblings through their hospitalization. So we really help kids kind of understand and process the hospital environment and use play and education and different tools to help them cope through their stay.
Grief in children looks different depending on their age, depending on their development. Basically, as a child develops, they get a different understanding and a different experience of grief. And so there's some telltale signs, of a young child. They might get more fussy. They might feel like they are trying to cling on to you all the time, where maybe previously they weren't. So there's some things you can look for, but pretty much grief is different for everyone, and that includes within children.
For children, a lot of it is based on their age and where they are developmentally. That kind of helps them understand death differently. We see in younger kids, they aren't always able to process that death is final or what it means when someone has died, and so they might cope with it in a really different way.
Rituals are really important to kids. Maybe you can think back of if your family observes Christmas and every year you get to go and take a picture with Santa. And so the siblings of a child who have died, they might say, well, are we still going to take pictures with Santa? Okay, let's do that, because to them that tradition is something that is normalizing, and it helps ground them in the fact that my sibling may not be here anymore physically, but they're still part of our family and we still get to do this.
As a parent, you're often the main person supporting your child through grief, and you're also sometimes grieving, and then you find yourself in times where you're supposed to celebrate, get together as a family, recognize holidays, and that can be really hard for parents and kids to feel like they can be happy and celebrate in the midst of grieving a death that really affected them. I think as a parent, first of all, just be present, listen to your children, give them a space where they feel like they can talk and share. Sometimes kids want to talk about it and sometimes they don't, but I think just creating a place where they feel comfortable sharing is one of the best things you can do.
One of the ways that we can honor people who have died is by saying their name, by not being afraid to tell the stories. If you see something on TV that reminds you of the person who died, pause the TV and say, oh my gosh, this reminds me of a time that so-and-so did this and it was hilarious. And if it makes you sad, you can honor that too, because sad isn't bad. It's just sad.
During this holiday season, it's important to honor a family member or friend that has died recently. I think ways that you can do that is first just talk about them, share stories, say their name. Sometimes families choose different specific activities to honor that person. So that might be making their favorite food, leaving a seat for them at the table, or going around and sharing stories about them.